You are 5 years old, and you are standing on a kitchen chair in a two-bedroom house in Gary, Indiana, performing for an audience of nobody. There are 11 people living in this house. Your parents and 9 children, crammed into rooms that were never built to hold that many bodies. Your name is Michael. You are the 8th child. You sleep on a mattress on the floor with your brothers, and the house never goes quiet. There is always music in the air. Your father's guitar leans against the wall, untouchable. Your mother's voice rises from the kitchen as she hums Motown songs while cooking for 9. Outside the window, the steel mills of Gary breathe smoke into the sky day and night. This is a working-class neighborhood, and your family is a working-class family. But something is happening inside this house that is not happening in any of the houses on Jackson Street. Your older brothers, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, have started singing together. They rehearse for hours in the cramped living room while you watch from the corner. You are too young to be in the group, but you are watching everything. You memorize every step. You memorize every harmony. When the brothers go to school, you climb on the kitchen chair alone and you sing the songs back perfectly, all of them with the same inflections as the Motown originals. One day your mother sees you do it, and her hand goes to her mouth. Your father's name is Joe Jackson. He is a tall, imposing man, a former boxer who works at the U.S. Steel Mill during the day and plays guitar in a rhythm and blues band at night. He has given up his own musical ambitions. He has not given up the idea that someone in this family will be a star. When he realizes you can sing, really sing, the calculation changes. At 6 years old, you are pulled into the group. The Jackson Brothers becomes the Jackson 5. You are the lead. This is not a gift. This is a job. Rehearsals happen every day after school in the living room. Your father sits in a chair with a belt across his lap. A misstep gets you the belt. A wrong note gets you the belt. A wandering eye gets you the belt. Your older brothers feel it too, but they are bigger. You are the youngest in the group, and your father strikes land hardest on the smallest body. You learn to be perfect. Not because you want to be perfect, because the cost of being imperfect is too high. This is the engine of everything you will ever create on a stage. You are 8 years old, and you are studying James Brown. You stand in front of the television, and you copy every move. The footwork, the slides, the way he drops to his knees and rises again as if pulled by a string. You absorb Jackie Wilson's stage presence and Sammy Davis, Jr.'s precision, and the harmonic phrasing of every Motown act on the radio. You do not have a teacher. You are teaching yourself by watching and repeating and watching again. In 1968, the Jackson 5 records its first single for a small Gary label called Steeltown Records. It does not chart, but the right person sees you perform at the Regal Theater in Chicago, and the call goes to Motown. In 1969, Berry Gordy signs the Jackson 5. The family relocates from Gary, Indiana to Los Angeles. You are 10 years old. Diana Ross, the biggest star at Motown, is brought in to introduce your group to the world. She becomes the closest thing you have to an older sister. She is glamorous and kind, and you watch her carefully because she knows how to survive what you are about to walk into. In January 1970, I Want You Back reaches #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. You are 11 years old. Your voice is on every radio in America, and you do not yet know how to read a contract. The hits keep coming. ABC. The Love You Save. I'll Be There. 4 consecutive #1 singles in your first year. A record nobody had set before. The Jackson 5 is a phenomenon. Your face is on lunchboxes and bedroom posters and Saturday morning cartoons. You are 12 years old, and you cannot walk down a street in any major American city without being recognized. You ride in limousines to school. Your brothers are with you. Your father is always nearby. But there is no one else. The other children at school keep their distance because you are not really one of them anymore. You are something else now. At night, in hotel rooms during tour, you sit by the window and watch other children playing in the street below. You write in your journal that you would trade everything you have for one normal afternoon. But you cannot trade. This is the deal. Your father reminds you of this constantly. You begin to develop a private quietness that the public never sees. On stage, you are explosive, alive, electric. Off stage, you are watchful and small, and you speak in a soft voice that surprises people who only know the performer. At 15, your face begins to break out in severe acne. You begin to hate your reflection. You are 19 years old, and you are ready to do something the Jackson 5 cannot do for you anymore. You want to make your own music. Not group music. Not Motown formula music. Something different. You meet a producer named Quincy Jones on the set of The Wiz, where you have just played the Scarecrow. He is in his mid-40s, calm and intelligent, and treated with absolute respect by everyone in the room. He listens when you speak. You ask if he would produce your next solo album. People around him laugh because Quincy Jones works with Frank Sinatra and Ray Charles. You are a former child star looking to grow up. He looks at you and says yes. You record Off the Wall in 1979. The album sells 8 million copies in the United States alone. It produces 4 top 10 singles. At the 1980 Grammys, Off the Wall wins exactly one award, Best Male R&B Vocal Performance. The album of the year goes to someone else. You sit in the audience in your tuxedo, and you do not show what you are feeling. But back in your hotel room that night, you make a promise to yourself. The next album will be undeniable. It will be so large that no category will be allowed to contain it. You begin working with Quincy Jones on what comes next. You write songs in your bedroom on a tape recorder, humming melodies, layering harmonies, building each track in your head before you ever step into the studio. You work 7 days a week. You are 23 years old, and you are about to change what popular music is allowed to be. Thriller is released on November 30, 1982. The album does not explode immediately. It climbs. It keeps climbing. On March 25, 1983, you appear on the Motown 25 television special. You perform Billie Jean alone on stage. Toward the end of the song, you slide backward across the floor in a single fluid motion that nobody in the audience has ever seen before. It will be called the moonwalk. It is not new, you learned it from street dancers, but you have refined it into something nobody else can do. The next morning, the world is different. Thriller becomes the best-selling album in the history of recorded music. It produces 7 top 10 singles from one album, a record that will stand for decades. At the 1984 Grammy Awards, you win 8 Grammys in one night, the most ever won by a single artist at that point in history. You wear a sequined glove and dark sunglasses to the ceremony. The world is watching you. The world cannot look away. You begin the victory tour with your brothers in 1984. Stadiums sell out in minutes. Your hair catches fire during the filming of a Pepsi commercial, and you suffer second and degree burns on your scalp. The painkillers begin here. Not all at once. Slowly. A prescription here, another prescription there. You are in real pain. The medication makes the pain stop. It also makes other things stop. The constant noise of being the most famous person on the planet, the inability to walk anywhere unrecognized, the ache of a childhood that was never returned. You release Bad in 1987. The Bad World Tour grosses more than any tour before it. You are 29 years old, and you are the most famous person alive. And something inside you is beginning to come apart that you do not yet have words for. Your skin is changing. Patches of lighter pigmentation appear on your hands, your face, your arms. A doctor diagnoses you with vitiligo, an autoimmune condition that destroys skin pigment. There is no cure. The patches spread. To keep your appearance consistent under stage lighting, you begin using fair-toned makeup to even out your skin. Over time, the lighter areas spread until you must lighten the remaining pigmented areas to match. The press does not know any of this. The press writes that you are bleaching your skin because you want to be white. You do not respond. You also begin to alter your face. Your father called you Big Nose throughout your childhood. At a certain point, you decide you will not carry that nose anymore. A first rhinoplasty becomes a second, becomes a third. Your cheekbones become more refined. Your jaw softens. The boy who used to dance in the Gary living room is no longer visible in the mirror. You buy a 2,700-acre property in California, and you call it Neverland. It has a zoo, an amusement park, 2 trains, a movie theater. You fill the property with the things you were never allowed to have as a child. You invite children there, sick children, underprivileged children, children of friends. You believe you are giving them what nobody gave you. You do not see, or will not see, that the world watching you does not see what you see. In 1991, you release Dangerous. It sells 32 million copies worldwide. You are now the biggest-selling solo artist in music history. You marry Lisa Marie Presley in 1994. The press calls it a publicity stunt. It is not, but it does not last either. In August 1993, the family of a 13-year-old boy you had befriended files a civil lawsuit accusing you of molestation. You deny it absolutely. The criminal investigation that follows produces no charges. But the civil case is settled in January 1994 for over $15 million. The settlement is not an admission, but it is treated like one. You will never fully recover from this in the eyes of the public. You spend the rest of your life with the accusation following you into every room. You release H.I. Story in 1995, half new music, half greatest hits, framed as a defense of your life. It sells, but the world has changed. You marry Debbie Rowe in 1996, and you have 2 children with her. A third child is born to a surrogate in 2002. You name them Prince, Paris, and Blanket. You retreat further into Neverland and further into a small circle of people you trust. In 2003, a second set of molestation accusations leads to a criminal trial. The 2005 trial lasts 5 months. You are acquitted on all charges. But the trial breaks you financially and physically. You leave the United States after the verdict, and you do not return for years. In 2009, you announce a comeback tour called This Is It. 50 shows scheduled at London's O2 Arena. All 50 sell out within minutes. You are 50 years old. Your body is not what it was. You have been taking prescription painkillers and sedatives for years, including a powerful surgical anesthetic called propofol that your personal physician administers to help you sleep. On the night of June 24, 2009, you rehearse a final time at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. You sing perfectly. You dance perfectly. You go home to a rented mansion, and you do not wake up.